Perched high in the rugged mountains of Colorado, surrounded by pine forests and shrouded in a rolling mist for much of the year, the Stanley Hotel stands as a timeless monument to both elegance and enigma. With its grand neo-Georgian facade, white columns, and sprawling veranda, the Stanley greets visitors with all the splendor of its Edwardian past. But beyond those gleaming chandeliers and creaking floorboards lies a darker legacy. A story woven with unexplained chills, whispered legends, and the details that would one day seep into the pages of horror's most iconic novel, Stephen King's The Shining. To understand how this stately resort became synonymous with fear, one must return to the early 1900s. F.O. Stanley, an enterprising inventor best known for the Stanley steamer automobile, sought refuge in the crisp, clean air of Estes Park after a tuberculosis diagnosis threatened his life. Within years, his health seemingly restored, Stanley and his wife Flora commissioned the construction of a grand hotel, a haven for Eastern elites longing to bask in the mountain air. Boasting electricity, telephones, a fleet of automobiles, and luxuries unheard of in the Colorado wilds, the Stanley Hotel opened its doors in 1909. Yet, even as grandeur reigned, peculiar tales began to surface. The earliest hints of the hotel's haunted reputation centered around the Stanleys themselves. It was whispered that Flora Stanley, a classically trained pianist, so adored the grand ballroom that her spirit could not bear to leave. To this day, staff and guests recount the enchantment of a phantom melody, sweet piano notes drifting suddenly into the air, late at night, when no living pianist occupies the bench. But it was room 217, set toward the west wing, where terror would ultimately find its muse. Long before Stephen King's fateful visit, that suite bore scars of its own. A disastrous gas explosion in 1911 left chambermaid Elizabeth Wilson injured, though, miraculously, not killed. Wilson is said to remain a vigilant caretaker, straightening guests' luggage, dimming lights, or folding clothes to her own mysterious satisfaction. Some visitors have awakened to a sudden chill, the unmistakable sensation of someone else lingering in the darkness just out of sight. It was here, many decades later, that author Stephen King and his wife arrived, seeking inspiration on a cold October night in 1974. Checked into room 217 as the hotel's only guests, King wandered the halls, absorbing the building's eerie solitude as icy winds howled outside. That night, his dreams turned nightmarish. His young son, chased down endless corridors by a fire hose that slithered like a serpent. King woke, sweat-drenched, and realized he had found the seed for what would become The Shining, one of the most chilling novels in modern literature. Since then, the Stanleys' haunted reputation has only flourished. Every year, thrill-seekers, paranormal investigators, and curious travelers flock to its ancient halls, searching for proof that the stories are more than mere legend. Is there something truly otherworldly at work within these walls? Guests report sudden drops in temperature, the feeling of unseen hands brushing their arms, and fleeting glimpses of translucent forms in Edwardian dress. In the Stanleys' famed concert hall, janitors tell of a ghost boy named Billy, whose laughter echoes from the rafters, tugging lightly on guests' clothing. Others mention the mischievous Lord Dunraven, a shadowy figure from before the Stanleys' construction, said to linger in closets or peer from mirrors in room 407. As night falls, the true personality of the hotel emerges. Wind rattles ancient windows, and long shadows twist in the flickering candlelight. The hotel's signature tours draw visitors deep into its underbelly, through narrow passageways and up creaking staircases. Tour guides relay the history, fact and fable, pausing at each spot where stories persist. Guests are encouraged to photograph empty hallways, and many come away with pictures revealing orbs, faces hovering in mirrors, and spectral shapes standing where no one ought to be. Of all the haunted suites, none is booked more often, or more hesitantly, than room 217. Some visitors stay for mere minutes, overcome by a sudden sense of dread or the suffocating weight of a presence in the dark. Others brave the night, waking in the small hours to find their personal items curiously reordered, or the sensation of someone sitting gently on the edge of their bed. Is it Elizabeth Wilson, still tidying her domain, or something unknown that lingers from the hotel's earliest days? It's not just guests who feel the chill. Staff members, many with years of experience, recount strange happenings, wine glasses shattering without warning, hall lights flickering in rhythmic patterns, doors unlocking themselves as if in invitation. Some embrace the mystery, viewing these incidents as hallmarks of the Stanleys' personality, a mischievous, ever-present guardian watching over the property. The hotel itself embraces its spectral reputation. Rooms are numbered with a nod to their haunted lore, and late-night ghost tours delve into every shadow-soaked corner, recounting past investigations and unexplained recordings. The ballroom hosts spirit parties, the air alive with anticipation as guests gather in hopes of a midnight encounter. Paranormal researchers from around the globe return year after year, bringing sensitive equipment, night vision cameras, and infrared thermometers to capture evidence of entities who refuse to rest. Yet amidst the tales of fright, there is an undeniable allure to the Stanley. Its autumnal gardens, mountain vistas, and rich history captivate travelers just as King himself was captivated all those years ago. By day, the hotel bustles with laughter, the clink of fine china, and the sound of piano music drifting through open doors. By night, it promises a different adventure, the thrill of facing the unknown, of brushing against the unseen, of becoming part of a storied tradition that blurs the line between reality and imagination. As legends grow, visitors find themselves drawn to the challenge. Would you dare to spend a night in room 217, doors firmly shut against the whispers and chill? Would you join one of the midnight tours, plunging into darkness with only a flickering flashlight and your nerve to guide you? Or are you content to marvel from afar, spine tingling, as you hear tales of haunted hallways and perpetually curious ghosts? The Stanley Hotel endures not just as a building, but as a living story, its walls echoing laughter, footsteps, and perhaps the faintest whisper of piano keys pressed by invisible fingers. It is a place where past meets present, where legend grows with every footstep, and where the boundary between this world and the next feels thinner than anywhere else. So, if you ever find yourself at the edge of Estes Park, looking up at those gleaming windows against the twilight sky, pause and listen. You might catch the strains of a distant waltz, see a shape lingering in the lamplight, or feel a shiver that has nothing to do with the mountain air. The Stanley Hotel awaits, its stories unwritten, its secrets yours for the discovering. Dare you step inside and confront the origins of a nightmare? Let us know. Would you spend a night where nightmares began?